Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at DCS Liberation again. So it looks like recently they have upgraded to version 7.0.0. That release happened about 5 days ago per GitHub. And if you've been following this channel at all on YouTube, you'd know that I like to play DCS Liberation and its more recent fork, DCS Retribution. And so what I wanted to do today was kind of take a look at DCS Liberation 7 and then understand kind of some of the changes. So it's important to note with DCS Liberation that any of the major version changes typically do not allow for saves from the previous version to be compatible. And you'll see this right in their documentation. They're very upfront about this. It says here, version 7, saves from 6.x are not compatible with 7.0. And I found this to also be the case sometimes when, I've used, their beta builds, where a beta build of 6 point whatever is not compatible with 6 point whatever, but they're usually very upfront that there are different breaking changes. It's not a big deal. Just be aware of it when you are looking at things. And then it looks like they've added different, they've got different engine support. They've changed the way that they're doing save games, for better debugging, which is great. So that if you do have issues, they're able to help you a little bit better. And then it looks like they've had a bunch of different advancements. They've got different fixes that they've done, and they've added different different choices on the game wizard that are now being remembered. There's different plugins that you can select now. And so we'll take a look at this. I don't think I have the A4E, but we can add it. We can play around with it a little bit. But let's go ahead and just to download it, you just need to download the zip file. Once you do, which I've already done this, you'll get a zip file, and then what we're going to do here is we'll just use 7-zip to extract the files. I actually prefer 7-zip over other things simply because it just seems to it seems to be faster than Windows' own thing here. So what we'll do here is we'll just put a 7 at the end. And then we will copy this to where we want, so you can just move this. You don't have to actually run an installer. You can just put this wherever you want. We're going to put it on our desktop, and then we've already done that. And so what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we're going to run this as an administrator. All right, and so now we are into DCS Liberation v7. What we'll do is we'll create a new mission. So what we're going to do, we're going to create the full map of Syria because it has this huge performance impact. The reason I'm doing this is we're going to look at it in two different ways, right? We're going to look at it worst case scenario, which is you loading it up as a single player mission, and then we're going to look at it from the other perspective of loading it into a managed server or a standalone server. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to keep the defaults here. I'm not going to mess with anything, just keep it the defaults. We're going to increase or decrease, I guess, the desired mission duration to 30 minutes. We can use super carrier. Yep, all right, that's already checked because it remembered that was a feature. I did play around with this just a bit earlier. And then we'll just give ourselves tons of cash. We're going to give them tons of cash. Everybody's going to have lots of cash. And then this was remembered as well, so we're going to keep this checked. I do like this feature already. We're going to just have it automate everything. And the reason we're going to do that is just kind of to see how the AI changes are, right, a little bit. If package planning or anything has changed fundamentally. So these are all the different plugins. This is a new window. And so what this window does is it'll tell us all the different plugins that we can select. If you want early warning radar system, splash damage. Historically, you had to go into a separate settings menu to do this. One thing that might be nice though, if the devs are watching, I don't think they are, but if they were, one thing that would be nice is the coalition skills to be in this wizard as well, right? Because that's another thing that I always like to set them to the highest. I would love for it to remember that. So we'll go ahead and click finish here, and it should generate a map for us. All right, great. So now we have all of our stuff here. What do we want to do? I want to make sure that we have. Let's put a. We're gonna put ourselves here in this squadron with the F-16s, and then I want an F-18. So this is with the Stennis. You know what? Let's put one at Circlic, and we're gonna give ourselves. There we go. All right, so we're gonna just leave it at this for now. We could, I could add something as a longbow or whatever, but whatever. We'll just do this. We're gonna hit accept. All right, so this is a huge map. And it should be buying stuff. It's not buying anything there. Okay, what about over here? Okay, so we bought a crap ton of Tomcats, which is, we definitely don't need 50 some odd Tomcats. Which is fine. Let's give ourselves some Harriers. Let's go ahead and check Circlic here. They gave us C-130s, which is fine. We have Falcons. Let's give ourselves at least 10 of those guys. All right, great. And then let's go ahead and click begin. So this looks pretty standard. We're going to go ahead and delete this. And what we're going to do is we're going to create our own mission. What do we want to take out? Let's take out this. We're not going to take out the SA-9, but we can take out this. All right, so we're going to give that to us, and then from our payloads, let's set this up a little bit. C5. I don't want a JSOW. I want harms. So we got a couple of harms. Fuel, lightning pod, harm targeting system. Great. So that should be good for us. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our settings. So this is what I would love to have set is, excellent to everything. This would be great in that wizard, if anyone's listening. In-game labels, everything else that looks similar. Restrict weapons by date, all these different things. They seem pretty straightforward. We'll just increment that to 20 just for fun. Automation, package planning behavior, you can do different things. Where's the time on target? Is that mission generator? We can try that. Fast forward, but we're going to do it at startup time. Auto resolve, we won't leave to touch that. So this is another one. This one here is default. It's defaulted to true on retribution. I wish it was defaulted to true on liberation. And then yeah, everything else I think we're just gonna leave. And now I'm gonna leave off culling of distant units, right? This is gonna be our worst case scenario. Everything else looks pretty straightforward. This is everything we know and love. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead in game, and we're going to be, I want to emphasize this, we're only going to be doing this from the single player client. We're going to do the same mission again from our dedicated server, but first we're going to do single player. So we'll see just a moment in game. Hey everyone, welcome back. So we are now in game. This is single player. And I want to show you the F10 map, just so that I can show you that we already have aircraft up and flying around. I actually set the, off camera, I set the, takeoff time for my jet to be a couple hours different than everybody else. And so I wanted to do that just so that we could see what happens when you have stuff in the air. So let's let's go ahead and start getting set up here for takeoff. And so this again is the worst case scenario. I've got the frames per second over here on the left. And from worst case scenario, I mean, you know, we have not done, you know, we're not doing a dedicated server, which I would consider the best case scenario. We've not done anything beyond, you know, just straight up single player. This historically would be almost unplayable. I think we're already set up so that we can start getting our engine going here. Alright, so we are just about ready to take off here. We're going to check our INS alignment. It's probably good enough, so we're going to go ahead and hit nav. We're going to do this as if we were doing an intercept, even though we're not. Just going to go ahead and take off here. We're not going to follow the instructions of the ATC. We're just going to do what we want to do. Cause some chaos a little bit here, and we'll just take off. I wasn't paying attention. I do apologize.
You are clear for takeoff runway. Climb 300 at QFE 30.20.
Oof. Oh, we almost ate it. He said clear for takeoff. I thought that he'd stop, you know, the other AI, but we almost ate that. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That is not a DCS Liberation problem. That is a whole other host of problems. So yeah, I would say overall we're looking at a pretty decent FPS, and we've got a bunch of stuff happening on the map. So if we take a look at F10 really quick, we'll notice that they do have an AWACS up, they've got some MiG-29s up, they've got some other MiGs up. You know, obviously we've got units all the way down to the south, we've got units to the north on our front lines. We have a smorgasbord of stuff going on, right? It's not like we only have 3 people up in the air. And we're still holding strong at around 60 FPS, which is great. It says that it is GPU bound, and it does flip between GPU bound to main thread, but again, I'm seeing massive improvements over what, you know, historically was here. We're gonna go ahead and keep climbing a little bit here. Again, we're going to conduct our strike, or I guess our seed mission here. I do expect us to get intercepted and other things, and that should allow us to just kind of see how things go. Now, I'll be honest, if I'm seeing significant FPS drops because of something, then we'll take a look at the dedicated server, but honestly, so far, you know, we've got the different air assets and ground assets running. We've got the full map with no culling on. You know, I'll make the call whether or not we're gonna actually bother doing the dedicated server, because honestly, right now, I'm not so certain it's necessary. And that's a good thing, right? That is an amazing thing. Alright, so we are still ways away here. We got 66 miles. 50 miles. At 25. This is a gammon, I believe. go ahead and increase our altitude. Okay, he's launched on me. We're just gonna go ahead and turn cold. .33 miles, bearing 107 at 30. Yep. Alright, we got a guy here. Back street. So 2 miles. 121. 21. 2 miles and 3,000 feet. Got him.
Altitude.
Ooh, we got 2. We even hit our main objectives. Alright, so let's, I think we'll call it here, but it looks like we've got really good performance even on the full Syria map. We'll go ahead and take a quick peek at the standalone server and see how that goes. Alright, so I did the standalone server test, and I will save you the results in terms of you watching me play that mission again. There was negligible difference in terms of the frames a second. I mean, it was a little bit higher, but not so much that I could actually tell by playing. And so to save you a 30 minutes to 40 minutes of me playing, I'm not gonna show that, but I have to say I am impressed that where we're at right now, right? So yeah, so Liberation version 7 seems to be a decent upgrade. I'm noticing significant performance improvements. But again, I need to be honest. I don't honestly know if it's because of DCS Liberation, or if it's because multi-threading has gotten better, or if it's a bit of both. My guess is it's probably a bit of both. But all I have to say is that I am impressed with as far as we've come, since I've been playing Liberation for several versions now. And I do still love Retribution. Retribution has definitely a few more options in terms of determining how you create packages and the way that you have a little bit more fine-tuned access. But I definitely think that Liberation is a strong contender in this space. I mean, it's the original contender in this space, and you should totally check it out when you get a chance. So, without further ado, I'll end it here. Definitely looking forward to playing more Liberation, and definitely looking forward to see where the Retribution project goes. In the near future, I am hoping to create some content around how to create the campaigns. I need to figure out how different version 7 of Liberation is to Retribution. I did see some stuff how Liberation is going to potentially be getting rid of the JSON for factions and using YAML, and I don't know if that's the same for Retribution, but I'll do a little bit of investigating before I post any videos, but we'll definitely have some content coming out soon on how to create your own custom campaigns, because I did notice that folks were asking for it. With that, I would say, I wish you all the best, and we'll see you in the next video.